let's take a look at this image. This view here is the whole high-rise field of view for this image with Victoria Crater right in the middle there. It's about a little over 4 miles across. Let's zoom in here on the crater. So here is the crater zoomed in a little bit closer, and this is again about less than a mile across, but a big crater compared to the rover. Let's zoom in one more time towards the region of that box right there. Okay, and now we can see the rim of the crater. We can see some of the layers. We can see something else that looks like a funny boulder sitting on the edge of it there. And let's zoom in one. Yeah, there we go. There's opportunity. We see the rover tracks. These images are posted on the web, so you can get a better view of the details in this. It might not come through on TV. But zooming in one more time, here is a very, very, very tiny piece of one image that shows the rover itself, which again looks like a boulder with some strange bumps on it and a shadow. And then we also see this dark extension off to the lower right. That's actually the shadow of the camera mast with PanCam, whose fantastic images we'll see here shortly. So it was nice to take a picture. PanCam wasn't taking a picture as we took its picture. It was on its way to another spot. But it's a nice shot anyhow. Okay, we also, let's go to the flyover video we have here. We also have color coverage in the very center of our field of view. This is enhanced color, not quite natural color. But we were lucky enough to get the crater entirely within the color swath. We're zooming in here now. The blue swath there is the rover again, bluish swath and the shadow. And what we're going to do here is to take a little simulated helicopter tour around the rim of this crater in order to just do a little reconnaissance prior to the rover doing its more detailed reconnaissance. So we are now moving south along the west edge of the rim of the crater. We can see the shadows cast by the cliffs that are up to several hundred feet high. If you look on the crater floor, you can see some boulders. Those are typically 3 to 6 to 9 feet in diameter, the largest ones being comparable in size to the rover. Maybe we'll see the rover drive up to some of them and check them out more closely. Here we see the sunlit cliffs exposing the layered sequence. There's a crater there that we'll hear more about later. Continuing around, we see more of these boulders on the floor. We see streaks from the movement, downslope movement of materials. This crater has a distinctive shape to it on the outside with all of the bays and alcoves here. And that's related to perhaps the original shape of the crater, but accentuated by erosion and wind erosion. Right there you see a strange linear feature that's like a dike. We don't really know what it is yet. Maybe Mur will tell us that. Continuing on towards the north, again, side of the crater, we can see the shadows reappearing, more layers exposed on the top and, of course, in the cliff walls, some streaks of sand being blown out of the crater. Some of these cliffs are near vertical, so we hardly are seeing what's there. From the perspective of the ground, obviously we get a much better view of the layering in these craters.
What I'm going to do is show you a video that merges the low-resolution black and white view that Steve just showed you with the very first pieces of the high-resolution color view that we've been obtaining with the panoramic camera. So if we could go ahead and start the video. So here's the low-resolution black and white view. The far rim of the crater here is a half a mile away, remember? And here's the two pieces that we have down from the spacecraft so far. Going off to the right, we'll zoom in to a small crater about 60 feet in front of us, and this is about 25 to 30 feet across. It's called Sputnik, and you can see how there's a little hole in the ground here. We'll start panning across it, and some of the ejecta and rocks have been dug up right on the rim of Victoria. You can see this beautifully in the high-rise image. We're panning across now to the actual rim of Victoria. We see many rocks and layers that are reminiscent of what we saw at Eagle Crater and in the upper levels of Endurance Crater, but we're seeing much deeper into the topography here, of course. And then the first dramatic promontory Cabo Frio here. That stack of beautifully layered rocks is approximately 50 feet high. To give you a sense of scale, we can magically, with the help of JPL computer graphics, put the rover into the scene. There it is at the top of the promontory to the correct scale. And that rover is about 5 feet tall, about as tall as a typical 10-year-old kid for scale. We'll pan back here. We'll put the rover in the near field, again, about 5 feet tall for scale, so you can get a sense of the size of this enormous hole in the ground. We'll keep the rover there as we pan back, again, looking all the way across half a mile to the distant rim, and we'll zoom in to the other side, the Cape Verde side of the outcrop that we're seeing. So here we are looking across Duck Bay, the place that these images were taken from back on Sol 952 when we arrived at Victoria Crater. Again, you're seeing the upper layers, very reminiscent of what we saw in Endurance and Eagle, but of course we're really excited to be able to see much deeper into the Martian subsurface than we could before. So here is the top of the Cape Verde promontory. That stack of beautifully layered sedimentary rocks is something like 15 feet or so tall. So again, for scale, to give you a sense of the depth here and the size, we can put a computer-generated model of the rover up onto Cape Verde. There it is. And in fact, that's approximately where Opportunity is today. We've driven out to near the end of this promontory. We're going to make some detailed chemical measurements and acquire another large panorama from this location in color. We actually have this entire product in color with the pan cams. It's on the rover. We know it's there in the rover's flash memory. We're going to be slowly dribbling it down to Earth over the next few weeks. Remember, Mars is on the opposite side of the sun now, and so we have very low downlink rates. It takes a long time to get data down. I want to show one more still, and that is a zoom-up view of Cape Verde where I've enhanced the image to bring out the subtle details in the shadowed areas. And even though it's kind of hard to see on the television, you can look at the image that we've released on the web, put it on your own computer, zoom way up, and really enjoy the megapixels. You'll see that there are just some phenomenal, beautifully layered, bedded sedimentary rocks in this stack of outcrop. We're extremely excited to see these, and we're really excited to see changes in the sedimentary layers through the outcrop, because changes in the layering mean changes in the environment. And so we know that there's some real potential in these images to do the kinds of things that Steve was talking about, figuring out the history of this area and how it relates to the whole traverse that we've taken on Opportunity to date.